Hello there. I've been asked a couple of times to let people know how I prepare my tea bags, and I'm showing you here. I've got some tea bags that have been hanging outside on a warm day for a few hours, and they're almost dry. They're dry to the touch, but inside they're still a little damp. Now, to get them open, you need to take out the little staple, pull off the thread first, then take out the little staple, and then open the ends and tip out the contents. In order for you to unwrap the top without tearing it, and for here where you're separating the two sides along that little fold, it's really just the two sides folded in and rolled in on each other. And if you get it slightly damp with a little bit of spray water, it's easy enough just to gently pull it out. Sometimes the little edge pieces pull off, and I'll show you some more of that in a minute, but generally speaking it just opens out nice and flat, and you can see how they're folded up sort of into the middle. Here's another one. I'll just show you. Pull off the string, just getting those out of the way, and remove the little staple. Sometimes this can be a little tricky and you might need to use a toothpick just to winkle it out without tearing a hole in the fabric. If you try and undo them while they're too dry, they will tear, and if you try and do them while they're absolutely soaky from inside your cup of tea, they won't work either. They just sort of need to be just damp. And you can see there that one's a little bit stuck, so I'll give it a little bit more spray and away it comes. Just empty out the almost dry tea leaves from inside, and you're left with a tube with a seam down the inside middle, and get it a little damp and then proceed to unroll it. Now these tea bags are Yorkshire tea, and these ones actually measure about 8 centimeters by 14.5. The ones I used in my previous video where I was showing you how I painted on them were actually Twinings tea bags, and they're generally speaking about 9.5 centimeters wide, but the same length, 14.5 centimeters long. And I think the difference, you can see there, the side is just pulling off. That's the little roll where the two edges are rolled together, and I think because they came off these tea bags much more easily than they did the Twinings, I was generally left with the sides of the Twinings bags. But these ones, they tended to tear off, and I think you'll see that top one has got little loose bits. I just dried them with my heat tool, and normally I just let them air dry overnight, and then a little bit of gentle but reasonably brisk rubbing with fingers and thumbs removes any of those little grains of tea that are left. You can use a brush, but I find once they're thoroughly dry, these particles of tea come away. If you didn't want the piece of fabric to be quite that dark, you could always soak it in some just cool water for a while. There, you can see I'm pulling those reggy sides off. They just come away very easily. And it's interesting how different the stains on the bags are. Oh, these ones always remind me of insects for some reason. So that's about it. That's really how simple it is. You just need to play with the moisture content of the bag, how wet it is, how damp it is. Don't try and do it while it's too dry, but then that sort of happy medium seems to work best, where you just damp it where you need to. Just getting rid of all that debris that's fallen out. And I'll just show you here on this one. It's quite heavily stained there, but it's gradually rubbing away. And there you see where my thumb is rubbing it now, there's a little doubled up piece where it's sort of stuck together in a little pleat. Just a little bit of water on that and it pats down nice and flat. So You just have to moisten it and make sure it's flat and be gentle and not tear them. Once they're dried, you can get stuck in and make all sorts of wonderful things with it. I've just started using them in my collage work too, which I'm trying to improve. So there you are, very simple process. Just thought I'd show you the type of tea bags because I've been asked. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye now.